All right, this is the last bit of chapter 21 and probably the most difficult and definitely the one that there are most exam questions on. Break-even analysis. If you do business or economics or accounting, you should probably have already seen this. So the company Amazon, the book company or whatever, yeah, the company, that they are now one of the biggest companies in the world. But for years and years and years and years, they never made any money. So they had lots of warehouses, lots of staff, lots of stuff, but they weren't making any money because they were selling things so cheap. But now they're one of the biggest companies in the world. So there came a point maybe 5-6 years ago when they started to make some money. So that's a little bit about what break-even analysis means. So a price here, the price, we've got a negative gradient, we've got a demand curve there. And this here is just a graph that shows the demand, and this here is just a graph that shows the supply. Let's have an example. A firm sells its product at $20 per unit each. The production costs, meant they like to use capital C for cost, if you noticed that before, is given by quite a simple rule, 4x plus 48. X is the number of units produced. And you might have seen situations where they use N for the number of units produced. Find the value of X for which the cost of the production of the units is equal to the revenue. So this is a bit like when was the point that Amazon started to make money? Okay, so first off, we've got to set up the equations. So that's selling something. So that's their revenue. R is their revenue. You notice here they told us to use C for cost, but they haven't mentioned anything about the revenue here. So this is something that we've just got to practice and know. So if they're selling something for $20 a unit, they've told us that their X is the number of units. So for each unit they sell, their revenue, the amount of money they're going to make, is 20 times the cost of the unit. We know what the cost formula is. They've given us the cost formula. So we had to work this one out. They've told us that it's $20 per unit though, but we still had to write that one out. This one they've given us. So sometimes they'll give us both of them. Sometimes they won't give us either of them. We have to work both of them out. Now, the key, could draw the graphs. We could draw the two graphs and we could see there's this 4x plus 48 crosses at 48. There's the point 48 and it's got a gradient of 4. This one here, there is no plus something at the end, so that means it crosses at 0 and it's got a much steeper gradient, a gradient of 20. We can see there's the break-even point, the point where the two lines meet. So that's why we've already done simultaneous equations, because simultaneous equations tell us the point where the two lines meet. So basically, we just put these two equal to each other. This point here is where the revenue equals the cost. So the point where R equals C is called the break-even point. So put R equal to C. R is that, C is that. So I've got R equals C. So now I could use solve on my calculator. I've got an equation that's only got one unknown in it, hasn't it? So I could take away 4x from both sides. Get 16x equals 48. Divide by 16 gives me x equals 3. So there's the break-even point when x equals 3. From the graph, if less than 3 items are produced, so less than 3, the cost is more than R, they're losing money at that point. Now, you'd hope as a business that you're selling more than 3 things. Although I suppose it might be something really expensive money. It might be like submarines that cost like, billions of dollars each. So they're losing money. If they produce more than 3 items, they're making money. And if it's equal to each other, that's called the break-even point. Just enough. Yeah, look at it like that. Losing money, making money, just enough. All right, let's have a look at another example. Anne sells pillows. Oh, what a great name. Soft sleep pillows, $65 each. So there's our revenue, $65 each. Write an equation for the revenue. So we're going to say X is the number of pillows. Yeah, they've told us that there, X pillow. So I've just done a little code there to help myself. So the revenue is 65 times the number of pillows. The cost, oh, they've told us the cost function. Brilliant, they've told us the cost function. Find the cost of making 30 soft sleep pillows. We're substituting in 30 into that. So 500 plus 40 times 30, $1,700. $1,700. The revenue is graphed below, and also the cost. So the cost and the revenue, again, we can see there's our break-even analysis. Looks, if I'm looking at that, 15. Well, it's not a very good scale, is it? 15, 16, 17, maybe 18 or 19. It's about 18 or 19, isn't it? There's the point. Oh, looks like 18 to 19. So let's do the math. Let's do R equal to C. 65x equals 500 plus 40x. I'm going to take away 40x from both sides. Now I'm going to divide by 25, and I get x equals 20. So it is a really, really bad graph, isn't it? It's a really, really bad graph. So be really careful. We kind of knew it was in that sort of thing, but when we did the maths, we've ended up with 20. So how many sleep pillows, soft sleep pillows, we need to break even? She'd need 20 to break even. All right, so just take super care when some of the graphs are rubbish. Now, some videos here for you to watch. So if you go onto Google Classroom, you'll see these. You go to the PowerPoint and you can play these. There's no point in me playing them now. 2 reasons. Number one, you can't hear the sound, and number two, it'll take it ages. So we've now got quite a bank of exams to be getting, exam questions to be getting on with, and I've been very impressed, because some of you have been asking me for help on some of the exam questions. NH, what does NH stand for? NH stands for Northern Hemisphere. So this is for Australian kids who, for some reason, their parents are living in either, America, Canada, or in Europe, and they want to do the VCE exam. But the VCE exam in Australia is in November, and all the exams in the US and Canada are all in June. So what they've done is they've made an exam that comes out in June. We don't do it down here. It's for kids that are living in those countries like that I mentioned before, but it's really, really good practice for us. So they don't do all VCE subjects, just like, some of the bigger ones like English, and, I don't think they do things like philosophy or something. They do them, the big exams. So it just gives us another resource. So when you are looking on the Google Classroom for where the exam, NH means Northern Hemisphere. It might say like the June exam or something like that. All right. There's lots and lots of work for you to do. Enjoy. Oh, and don't forget the questions from 21H.